Good day, grade 6 students of our Pili Elementary School, District of Balamban 2, Division of Cebu Province. This is Teacher Jane, your English teacher. How are you today? So before we start our new topic for this 8th week of the 3rd quarter, let us first have a review on our last topic, which was about plot, right? So there are 5 parts of a plot, but could you still remember what is plot? So plot consists of the episodes that make up the beginning, the middle, and ending events of a story. So, there are 5 parts of a plot that you had learned last week. So, let's recall. First, the exposition. It introduces the setting and characters. Second is the rising action. It introduces and develops the conflict. Climax. It serves as the highest point of interest or suspense. Then we have the falling action. It draws the story to close. Okay, resolution. It ties up the loose ends or the giving of solution to the given conflict or problem. So are you ready now for our new topic? This is still a continuation of the elements of a story or elements of a narrative. So this is about the theme. But before that, let me first show you the objectives that you have to learn in today's lesson. First is you have to identify how the author develops the elements of narratives, which is the theme. Evaluate the themes of narratives and show patience in waiting one's turn. Okay, so how are we going to evaluate the theme of a narrative? Theme of a narrative class is the main point or central concept around which the story or narrative is focused. It is a statement about life or human nature conveyed or implied through the story. Or it can be the author's message or central insight that he or she is trying to communicate through the story. Or it is often a moral lesson of the story or the underlying implicit meaning, concept, or message in a text that we learn about life or people. Examples of themes include love, betrayal, friendship, war, family, and others. Let us now read a story. We are going to read a selection. Then, read it very well, or you have to listen attentively for you to answer the comprehension questions and identify the theme. The title of the selection is The Queue by Brazy Belia L. Ogario. By the way, class, the word queue means a waiting line or linya nga nagpaabot kay naa kay gipalit, for example. So naglinya na siya. Or in other words, that is a waiting line. It's a line. Okay, are you ready to listen now? The title of the selection is The Queue. It was 10 o'clock in the morning at Usmad Elementary School. It was already break time for grade 6 Lilac. The children lined up in a queue towards the canteen to have their recess. At the canteen, there were also children lining up in a queue waiting for their turn to buy their food. Zaiki, a grade 4 pupil, rushed in front of the queue and shouted at the canteen manager for food. Calmly, the canteen manager said to Saiki, "Saiki, it is not good to shout at people, especially when you are at the canteen. And we should observe the rules inside the canteen. Look at these children. They lined up in a queue and wait for their turn. You should also do the same," said the canteen manager. After that day, Zaiki lined up in the queue and asked politely for food. And now, let us answer the comprehension questions. Try to look at the questions. The first question is, who is the boy in the story? Cyrene, make sure to answer this one. The second question, we have here, where did the story happen? Nova Apple, please answer that question. Number 3, we have here, what is the conflict of the story? Can you answer that one, Joffy? 4, how was it resolved? Then, can you answer that one, Johnbert? Okay, then the fifth question, what is the theme of the narrative? James Inad, make sure that you have to answer that question. Sixth, how did the author develop the theme? Can you answer it, Franz Azrael? Okay, so let us now answer the question. Question is, who is the boy in the story? The answer is Zaiki. Very good. Next, we have, where did the story happen? The story happened in the canteen. Very good. Next, what is the conflict of the story? The conflict of the story is that Zaiki rushed in front of the queue and shouted at the canteen manager for food. Nagdali-dali siya. Syagit pagyud siya sa canteen manager. Wala siya nilinya. Okay. Then, how was it resolved? Giunsa pagsulbad ang problem? The canteen manager told Zaiki that it is not good to shout at people, especially when he is at the canteen. He should observe the rules inside the canteen. What is the theme of the narrative? Okay, the theme of the narrative is patience. The narrative implied patience in waiting one's turn. Inyo ba nagibuhat? Class? Magpaabot ka sa imong turn. Kung makita ninyo nga taas kayo ang linya, ayaw sapaw nga muuna nung ka. You have to wait for your turn. So, nagpakita na og the value of patience. Were you able to get the correct answers? If you got 5, then very good. I'm happy for you. How did the author develop the theme? Okay, the author developed the theme through the description of the character. Iyang di-describe unsa nga klase nga pagkabata si Zaiki. Ug unsay angay niyang dapat nga buhaton. Okay. The key point there is the author develops the theme of the story through the description of characters, the words used by the author, the events, and the setting of the story. So, mo na ang pag-ila kung unsa ang theme. Or what is the story all about? What lesson did you learn from that story? Okay. So, are you ready to answer the exercise? So, we have here 2 exercises. Okay, the first exercise is we have to answer it. Okay, we have to answer this one together. Okay, we have to read the selection and choose the best theme that applies for this. Myrna loves to study her lessons. She reads her books every day. She accomplishes all the homework that their teacher assigns to them. She goes to the library to read newspaper and more books every day. So based on the description of the character, what do you think is the theme of this selection? So there are 4 choices here. First, or letter A, diligence to studies. B, hatred to schooling. C, loyalty to friend. D, patience to work. What is the answer, Glyza? Okay, the answer for this is letter A. Congratulations if you get the correct answer. It means that you already know how to evaluate the theme of this selection. Now, it's your turn to answer these 5 selections. Okay, the first one is, a dog was carrying a piece of meat in his mouth. On his way home, he had to cross a plank lying across a little stream. He saw his own reflection in the water and thought it was another dog carrying a piece of meat also. So he made a snap at the reflection in the water. As he opened his mouth, he lost his piece of meat. Then he had none. So, what kind of a dog is he? Greed. So, ang ipakita sa theme, unsa may gipakita ani? Greed, kindness, partnership, courage. So, just choose the letter of the correct answer. Then the second one, Linda and Rose are best friends. Whenever Linda has problems, she shares them with Rose, who by merely listening intently makes Linda's burden lighter. However, in the case of Rose, whenever she has a problem, she keeps it to herself. Rose thinks that nobody could solve her problem except herself. But this changed when she encountered a tragic incident when Linda did not leave her side until she got cured. What's the theme? Is it courage, betrayal, revenge, or friendship? Okay, let's proceed to number 3. Mang Pedro is a farmer. He wakes up at dawn and goes to the field with his carabao. He tills the soil and takes care of his carabao and chickens. He is a hard-working man. His wife, Aling Ana, does the household chores. She cooks food and prepares the baon of her 3 children who go to school in Pasig Central School. Okay, you have to choose from the choices below. Is it hard work, rivalry, generosity, or courage? Then we have animals help man in many ways. The dog guards his master's house at night. The carabao helps man plow the field. It also pulls the cart that transports the farmer's products over the hills and mountains. The horse pulls the kalisa. The cow gives milk and meat. So there are 4 choices there. Now let's proceed for number 4. And the choices for number 5 and the choices. After answering those 5 questions, you have to send it back to me for me to check your answer. That will be all, class. Thank you and God bless us all.